Primary school located in Dhading District is actually Building Education's fourth school rebuilding project. And prior to the commitment of building this school, we probably went to go visit about 4 times over the course of 2 years. This school specifically supports 125 students from class ECD, Early Childhood Development, up to class 3. And it supports a community called the Chapang community, which is known as the poorest of the poor in Nepal. The inside infrastructure and the outside of the school had many cracks all over it, with some of the top parts of the building actually already breaking into rocks and coming down. It was built with this traditional style of building, which is stone stacked on top of one another with cement plaster, which makes a very fragile building that is susceptible to disasters. It's not earthquake resistant in any way, shape, or form. So we knew that we wanted to rebuild this facility because it wasn't safe for kids to study in, and we wanted to also extend the class grades up to at least class 4, increase enrollment and increase literacy for this school. We're building with pillars, we're building with reinforced concrete, and so it actually just lasts a lot over time and years, and that's a big part of Building Education's mission, to rebuild schools that are actually disaster resistant, no matter if it's a flood, whether it's an earthquake or monsoon. It will outstand and sustain over time through these disasters. Another challenge that we experienced in this village was a few disputes going on within the neighboring villages. So there was one water source that was coming from the spring that was over the hill and down into the river. And there was one tube that only led up to the very first village. However, our school was located in the village over the hill, and there was a neighboring village in this area as well. So there was this scarcity of the simple resource of water, and 2 villages that were actually fighting over this water source. So we knew that we also needed to create an additional water source at the school for the kids. This project turned out to be very successful with a 3 partnership between Building Education, our partner organization, and the local municipality. And what our agreement was that we would rebuild this 5 classroom structure and rebuild it into 8 total classrooms, with Building Education funding the building and also funding for the playground and the water drinking facility. The government agreed to then provide the teachers that were needed for this school, create a 1-year school plan, a 3-year school plan, and a 5-year school plan. In addition, they built the roads that lead up to the school, which actually is a huge component to it because it drives visitors and traffic into this area to help us build up this community. And they also then installed electricity into the area, so there was no energy source prior to that. We did come across a few challenges, but I'm just so grateful that we were able to work out all of the kinks in this and see it to completion. Another really exciting thing about this was we brought over the U.S. Building Education team to Nepal. So it was the very first time that the U.S. team got to meet the Building Education Nepal team. It was also the very first time that both these teams together could go and see a completed school project that we had been working on for probably about a year, and then see it together and see the impact that we are making as an organization. all of the team members, volunteers, the donors, the board members that are involved with this organization do it because they're passionate about the mission, right? And they really want to see the change that we're making, the difference that we're making in the world. So there's nothing more rewarding than working on a project like this remotely for over a year, and then actually being on the ground during the handoff ceremony and seeing the smiles on the kids' faces, looking them in the eye and seeing the new hope of a future that is outside of poverty. That is the real magic that happens in all of this. So my entire 6-week trip in Nepal this year of 2024, I think we took over 10 flights. We off-roaded more than 70 hours, and we went to visit 7 schools in 7 districts. So Santos was with me almost every trip, but we had team members and volunteers that were coming in and out of Nepal at different times, as they weren't staying for the entire 6 weeks. So it was a lot to manage. One of our biggest trips was actually going into Jajakot, which is very far west Nepal, and they recently had an earthquake there back in November 2023. That earthquake alone damaged about 150 schools in the area. We arrived at the school that we wanted to build the next day with our partner that we had already vetted and decided to work with. There are approximately 250 students that went to this school. The building was a poor structure with local stones and cement plasters. And I remember arriving there and all the kids were just sitting on the ground, and they had come to see us. The mayor actually made his way to come meet with us as well and speak with the students.
It was really sad listening to their stories. We even went and checked a few of the temporary settlement they were staying at because they do not have their own house right now, and they're staying in this temporary settlement.
I remember thinking, what do we say to earthquake victims, people who had lost family members and entire belongings? And I realized in that moment that it really isn't about what you say, but it's about what you do. And so I had committed to myself at that very moment that we would come back and we would keep showing up for them, and we would support them and help them in whatever way it was needed to then rebuild and restart a new life and create an even better future moving forward. So the 5th school came to us in a bit of a surprise this year. This is Healing Hearts School that's located in Hetauda. This school actually only has about 25 students, and it really isn't the typical project that building education works on. Building education usually focuses on schools that have over 100 students and can show that this village is a growing community, not a dying community. However, when we looked at this case, we saw that the impact per dollar was about $100 just to educate per student. So you really can't beat numbers like that. $100 per student for them to get an education, it's kind of a no-brainer. In addition, we felt that the leader of our partner organization was very committed to this project. It was her very first school, and we could tell her heart was very much in it. So we wanted to support her through this process, and we wanted to kind of guide her into doing things the correct way. So even though it didn't make all of our criteria checks, I'm very happy that we decided to do this specific school. It's actually already complete. The structure was made with interlocking bricks, which is a new structure that we're also looking into and testing out. It is cement mixed with sands, and it has a specific machine in order to make these bricks that kind of like just lock in and click together. They're very disaster and earthquake resistant, although it can't be built in all areas of Nepal due to the materials. So this school essentially was the perfect project for us to test out the interlocking bricks and see how this would go. And we are just completing the painting for this school, and soon we'll get a plaque with a dedication to the donors that supported this project. So that is the completion of our 5th school in Nepal. That was pretty quick, so that will be 2 schools that we have completed this year. And we have already started our 6th school in Makwanpur of Nepal. That's huge strides, you guys. Our 6th school in Nepal, there is something that just feels so fulfilling about passing the 5th school, because I feel like I've been trying to get here forever. So this school is Sagar Martha, located in Makwanpur District. I really like the school and see the potential of all the great students here. So this school is from ECD up to class 8, and it currently has 244 students that attend here. A majority of them are from the Tamang community. These students are very dedicated to their studies. The attendance records show a consistent 90% and above. In addition, the students could engage in English and share about their professions, what they wanted to pursue in the future, from teachers to doctors to nurses. So I can't wait to see in 5 to 10 years what happens in this area, and I'm so excited to update every single one of our supporters and our donors about this project as well. To bring together the US and the Nepal team of building education is probably one of the most gratifying parts of my role. Our community in the US, in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley, I'm so inspired by them. To imagine that they are donating to a cause, to these schools, to a country they've never been to schools that they have never seen, but to fully trust and believe in myself, in my team, and building education, and provide their efforts, whatever that means, whether it means resources or funding or support or love or appreciation or awareness of our organization, and devote their time into it. I mean, it just blows my mind. My hope for the future is to be able to continue bridging these communities of Nepal to US, from Kathmandu to Silicon Valley, and to continue creating these communities that are coming together to do impactful work of building schools and transforming rural villages, in addition to building this incredible legacy of making a great impact in the world. I can't wait to see what is next, and just flying our team over from US to Nepal or Nepal to US is only the beginning for the lives that are going to be changed and the connections that are going to be made in making a difference and creating a better world.
Go!